Hey guys, this is Roxann Smithers with Smithers and Ume-Nwagbo, your trusted 360 general counsel. Today we're going to talk about some strategies for contract negotiations. We'll discuss my top 5 considerations when you are negotiating either a contract with your customer or contract with vendors. First thing that you want to understand is both your motivation for the contract as well as the other side's motivation for the contract. Are you looking to start a long-term business relationship, continue a long-term business relationship, or is this a one-off business transaction? Whether or not you fall into one of those 3 categories will impact some of your strategies, what you're willing to accept, what you're willing to concede, and what issues you're willing to sort of leave open to chance. The other thing that you want to understand in that motivation category is that sometimes you're the hammer and sometimes you're the nail. Meaning our negotiation leverage changes depending on the situation. And it's not always true that the customer is right. If the customer is in a situation where there's only one vendor and there's a limited amount of time to get the vendor's services, then the vendor may have a lot of power in that relationship and in that negotiation. Being aware of where you stand and who you are in the contract negotiations can help a long way. Finally, you want to understand the market, knowing what's the going rate for the services or the goods that you're looking to contract for or you're looking to provide. Understanding if there's a lot of competition either for your services or for your dollars in that market. Those things will impact your contract negotiations as well. Secondly, in negotiations, you're going to oftentimes start by asking for either more than you're willing to accept or offering less than you're willing to give. And part of that process also means understanding your deal breakers. What are the absolute terms that you absolutely have to have in your contract? What are the things that would be nice to have? And what are the things that are gimmies? Having a good amount of give-me's, having a good amount of things that you're good with either way can give you leverage when you're trying to make sure to get your deal breakers and understanding what your deal breakers are. Thirdly, do not agree to the impossible. There is often a temptation if you are on the business development side to try to keep the customer as happy as possible and to give them unrealistic expectations, to get them to sign on the dotted line with the hope that things will work out in the end or that you won't have any problems. This can create a lot of confusion down the road, particularly if your organization has a distinction between individuals who are out selling your goods and services and the individuals who have to actually perform. You don't want to create that strife by signing contracts with unrealistic expectations or impossible expectations. In that same vein, the 4th point that you want to think about is plan for rain. Something could go wrong, and the point of a contract is in many instances to lay out a plan or a framework for how the parties are going to address the things that can go wrong. In every life some rain shall fall, and in every contract there's potential that there's going to be an issue down the road. But if you've thought about it, you've negotiated how you would handle that situation, then the rain won't cause as much of a problem. Final thing that you want to think about if you reach an impasse in those contract negotiations, make sure that you have the parties who can green light a deal at the table. A lot of time can be lost between emails and conversations with individuals who don't have the authority or don't have the information necessary to accept the terms that you're pushing or to accept the change to the contract that you'd like to make. Make sure that the decision makers are available and that they are plugged in when necessary. If someone is pushing back on a contract provision that you would like to have, dig deep. Find out why and ask why and why and why until you get to the real reason. Oftentimes they will realize that there's not a lot of basis for the concern or the fear that they have that they are trying to address in the contract. Or you'll find out that they have a valid concern and then you'll be able to find a way to address it in the contract and come up with a solution that works for everybody. So always ask why. Finally, be creative. think outside the box in terms of how to resolve an issue. If one side is concerned about cash flow, think about the timing of payments. If one person is concerned about their supply chain, think about the timing of the performance of the contract. Anytime that you can come up with a solution that gets you to a yes, that is a positive yes for everyone, that's a win-win. So these are the initial 5 tips that you like to think about when negotiating a contract, and these are the notes for my legal pad. And I'm Roxann Smithers with Smithers and Ume-Nwagbo. So to learn more about the attorneys at Smithers and Ume-Nwagbo, you can check us out on Facebook, LinkedIn, our YouTube channel, as well as stulawgroup.com.